Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to give you an update of my crypto portfolio for the month of March 2022. Now, the month of March has been pretty insane for crypto, and that is especially true for some of the positions that I hold. So let's just take a quick snapshot of the dashboard here. My overall invested amount remains the same at $4,782, and the current value shot up substantially from last month, and right now it's at $5,185, and that puts us at an ROI of just over 8%. Compared to last month, we were down over 13%, so going from last month to right now, that's about a 22% change for the better. In terms of the actual positions, well, a majority of my crypto is held in Phantom. I'm a big believer in Phantom, which is why I continue to hold the token. I think the team is fantastic, the technology is superior to a lot of other L1s that are out there, and the community is so strong and so supportive. And I'll dive into the updates some of these holdings have had for the past month, but overall Phantom is my largest position by far. My next largest is UST, which is over on the Anchor protocol. It's essentially a stablecoin that earns about 19% annually. And the next few positions are pretty low, but they still remain the same. That's Dash, Atlas, Reaper, and Bitcoin. If we look at the value over time, we can see that there was a clear downtrend in the first half of the month, but in the latter half, the crypto market really increased and kind of got back to where it was. In terms of risk allocation, about 24% of my portfolio is in what I consider low-risk crypto investments, 73% is in medium-risk assets, and about 2% is in high-risk assets. And once again, I personally do my own research and score all of the crypto projects that I'm invested in based on my own parameters. So that's how I come up with this risk allocation. And my general strategy here is to filter assets into lower tiers of risk. And what I mean by that is I don't want my entire portfolio to be comprised of high risk assets. And if they are, my goal is that once I hit ROI, I'll then filter it to the next tier down to hopefully increase the portfolio size. All right, now I want to spend some time and just talk about some of the updates that these crypto projects have had over the past month. And beginning with Phantom, Phantom had a very rough time in the beginning of March because a large figurehead for Phantom left. He just got out of crypto. He was a very famous developer named Andre Cronje. And based on the news of Andre leaving crypto, leaving Phantom, that sent the token into a downward spiral for a bit, but things started to slow down and eventually Phantom recovered pretty well by the end of the month. There was a risk of Phantom going under $1, but it held strong and recovered to where it is now, and that's about $1.60. And if you're new to crypto, you'll see that when there's negative news, it seems really bad, and when things go good, when markets are up, basically everybody is very euphoric. You know, there's really no in between. So you definitely have to keep your emotions in check. But Phantom is not slowing down, the core team is still there, the community is stronger than ever. And they actually just hired a professor, his name's Bernard Schultz. He actually works at the University of Sydney, I believe. And they hired him as the chief research officer. And from what I understand, he's an expert in middleware and will greatly help in the development of the Phantom virtual machine. And one other thing I wanted to quickly mention about Phantom is that there's a really unique situation brewing here between their market cap and the TVL. Right now, the market cap to TVL ratio is under 1. And for me, that just screams that there's a lot of potential for the price of Phantom to increase. I mean, when you think about it, how can a top 6 token in terms of TVL be ranked in the 40s for market cap? It's a really interesting situation, and based on the strong technology behind Phantom, I'm really bullish on it. The next news comes from Anchor Protocol. Now this is the Anchor Earn feature that I'm talking about, where you earn about 19 to 20% on the UST stablecoin. Well, one really cool thing is that the Terra team actually just purchased about $135 million of Bitcoin to back the UST. And ultimately, their goal is to hold about $10 billion in Bitcoin. So it's really cool to see that this team is taking a very strong crypto asset like Bitcoin and using it to back their own stablecoin. Another big thing with Anchor is that they just passed Proposal 20, and this puts into effect a dynamic interest rate. And my understanding of this is to make this rate sustainable, it's gonna have to change. I believe the Terra team is gonna set parameters on these changes. I know one example they highlighted was at most in a month, it would change by 1.5%. So going forward with Anchor, you can probably expect about a 1.5% or less adjustment of their interest rate, both in a positive and negative direction. It really just depends how the protocol is doing. Dash is a coin that I just continue to hold on Webull. Really no update there. So next we'll move on to Atlas Cloud, and this is a node as a service project. And admittedly, the price has declined pretty substantially over the past month. It's hovering right around $100 right now. And since I got in very, very early, I've actually gotten my return on investment back. So now my plan is to just compound the nodes. But a really cool thing with Atlas is that they just partnered with Vultr. So what they plan to do is make node hosting extremely easy. There's a lot of utility nodes out there, like for example Flux, and to set a Flux node up you have to buy a VPS, and it's not always the easiest thing to do, but Atlas plans to allow people to set up those nodes very, very easily. So that's a pretty cool thing that they have going on in the future. And also their team is growing. I know they just hired a handful of devs, and anytime a project hires more devs, it just screams to me that they're building and they have plans for the future. Next is Reaper Farm, the auto compounding project. And I love Reaper, I love the team behind it, but I just haven't invested more into it. Mainly because I'm holding Phantom, because I believe the price of Phantom is going to rise, and I don't want to take on too much impermanent loss right now. But one cool thing with Reaper is that the team behind it, the Byte Masons, they actually just launched their own token. It's called Oath. And I plan to load up on Oath here in the near future because I love Reaper Farm. I love the team behind it. And after watching some interviews, doing some research, I can tell that the Byte Masons are developing for the future of not only DeFi, but finance in general. In Bitcoin, I haven't done anything with, I'm just holding in my ledger. So there you go, guys. That is an update on my crypto portfolio for the month of March. I'm super excited about the future of crypto. I will say I'm always nervous. It's so volatile, but for me, that's all right. I truly do believe that the technology behind crypto can solve a lot of problems that we have in the world today, both in terms of security and speed. Anyway, thanks for checking out the video. I hope you all have a wonderful day. If you did enjoy it, please hit that like button and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thanks so much and good luck investing.